Good morning, evening, or afternoon to all of you beautiful people. Josh here to bring you some sweet voice-based content. So, something I've been asked in my very short voice acting and YouTube life is...
So where did it all begin?
Thanks, Giga Chad. And while there's no easy or short answer to this question, I figured with my birthday just gone and my 1-year anniversary of my first audition coming up, it might be nice to reflect and see exactly how I got here. So here it is. Here is my voice acting origin story. Let's go!
Tell me, where did it all begin?
Thanks again, Giga Chad. Well, when I think of my voice acting origin story, I can basically simplify it into 3 sections. The first is my history of musical theatre and theatre studies. Now, as mentioned before in a previous video, I studied musical theatre and theatre for a very large portion of my life. I was involved in musical theatre or theatre to some degree for the best part of a decade leading up to my life at university. And as I mentioned before, it has done no end of good for my confidence and my abilities when it comes to voice acting. Theatre and musical theatre really assisted me in becoming more confident and being able to portray a character. And nowadays, I think my ability to be able to portray a character is pretty solid. Obviously, there's still areas I need to improve, but that's just a natural progression when you're working in a creative field. Unfortunately, performing in musical theatre was never going to be a permanent fixture in my life, but I didn't realise it until my 2nd year of university. Now, please remember these are just my experiences and what I dealt with and what I went through, but I found that musical theatre became a very toxic environment when I was at university. Maybe it's the pressure of being in a musical theatre environment, because with the rehearsals, the auditions, and the feeling that you have when you don't get a role you audition for, it is tough. I've been there. I've done it for over a decade. Now, luckily, this didn't affect everybody in the musical theatre department, but it affected enough people to turn everything I loved about musical theatre very toxic and make me walk away. It's a long story that got me there, but I'm going to save that story maybe for another time. I feel like the negative videos on my channel don't really tend to spark people's interest that much, so I don't know. If it sounds like something interesting to you, then let me know. But to give you the very short version, I decided to drop musical theatre about halfway through my 2nd year of university and move purely onto music. And while this was the best decision I could have made, and I genuinely would do it again in a heartbeat, in fact I wish I'd done it sooner, I didn't stray away from acting. So this moves on to phase 2 of my path to voice acting. So while I was in university in my 2nd year and I was moving purely on to doing just music as a course, I started doing voice acting for smaller YouTubers and their projects. I will never ever reveal these projects or show anyone these projects because I was using a headset microphone, and that is a cardinal sin that I'm not willing to relive. But one thing it did teach me was how different voice acting was to stage acting, and having to learn how to bounce off a character that's not there to record with you was a really good experience, and it really helped me to push myself as a voice actor. During this time, I also tried my hand at a little bit of anime redubbing. Problem was, once again, because I didn't have any friends who were voice actors or knew anyone in the online community who was a voice actor, I was basically stuck to working on these projects by myself. So all I literally did was recorded the lines that I was doing, isolated them, isolated the audio, found the music, and then re-put together the project. The audio quality was obviously very different because, as I mentioned, I was using a headset microphone, but it was a challenge that helped me no end in improving my ability not only as a voice actor but in terms of audio editing as well. But the third, final, and biggest stage came around this sort of time last year. Like many people, I was in a major rut during lockdown last year. I was miserable, I was depressed, I was angry all the time, I was sleeping straight after work, I had no motivation. So instead of being productive, I just sat on YouTube a lot, and I'd been a fan of videos from other voice actors on the platform like ProZD, as I've mentioned, CDogVA, but it was around this sort of time that I really started to watch them more intently, and this feeling of everything coming together and maybe voice acting could be good for me. It all sort of bubbled up inside, but I never took the leap. I didn't take the leap for quite a while. Then, as I mentioned in my inspirations video, I stumbled across ProZD's video, How to Get Into Voice Acting. And this video sent me into what I like to call my hyperdrive mode. Essentially, this is a thing I do very often where I get an idea for something and I will go nuts. I will do everything that I possibly can to get this off the ground in the shortest amount of time I possibly can. But after watching that video, maybe it took a day before I ordered the audio equipment, bought the audio software, researched all the best sites for auditioning, started looking at the do's and don'ts of auditioning, which, to be honest, I didn't pay much attention to, and I really wish I had. And after about 6-7 hours of consistent work, I crashed out. And then I waited, and then my audio equipment arrived. I started getting used to the audio software, and I submitted my first audition. And the journey officially began. So there we go. That's pretty much the whole story. Nearly a year ago, I started this wonderful, wonderful journey to becoming a voice actor, and I'm nowhere near done, but I'm proud of how far I've come so far. Fun fact, not too long after starting voice acting, I actually got the idea for starting up this YouTube channel. But I'm gonna save that story for another time. I'd actually like to do a video on how this channel started, but I think it wouldn't be fair for me not to have the wonderful DennistarIllustrations on to go through the process of how this channel started. Speaking of working with wonderful and amazing people, a massive shout out to the absolutely phenomenal Tay Talks for providing his voice for the Giga Chad. Tay is the real Giga Chad. He sent me so many takes of that one line, it was actually difficult for me to pick a favorite. So please, please, please go and subscribe to his channel, go and check him out. He has over 1,000 subs and he deserves 50 times that. He's a phenomenal content creator, and I'm so proud to say that I've been able to collaborate with him now twice, because you can now find my voice on his channel, which is great. But that's going to do it for today. As always, if you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe for more beautiful voice-based content. Keep your eyes out for my next video. I upload every fortnight. But until then, stay wonderful.